Hey YouTube, welcome back to Love for Crypto. So we've just finished the 2-day event at Swell, which in my opinion couldn't have gone any better. There is different, reactions and responses to maybe how Swell went, but for me personally, it beat all my expectations. Obviously, XRP went live during Swell, or they announced that the product was live. My personal belief, I do believe that we did go live a couple of weeks ago. I'm not the only person to think or claim this. I think when we was around the 24 cents, we bounced up to 33 cents. I think from 33 cents, we actually seen a soft rollout of the free payment providers actually using XRP, just due to the price movements that we saw. Could really indicate that was due to XRP utility, which is a great thing. A lot of people are not exactly over the moon with XRP going live and not much price action, but I do believe it was already priced in pre-Swell. Again, that's just my only opinion. But, we've just made literally history. History's been made at Swell. XRP is the first digital asset to ever be used in production, by corporations, by banks, financial institutions, whatever you want to call it. It's the first cryptocurrency, and it's probably the greatest single bit of news for this space since the launch of Bitcoin. I think it really is on level with, fundamentally, with how great that actually was. And then obviously there at Swell, we've heard all sorts of wonderful statements. They was trialing out XVIA, XCurrent. They was showing everybody there how it operates. And I believe with the speakers that we had there, with the central bank speakers, etc., I do feel that Ripple probably got a lot of people knocking on the door at the moment, inquiring. And if you look at the statistics that Corey Johnson actually went over during Swell, it just goes to show that we are on the tipping point of mass adoption, especially for Ripple and XRP. They've done all the hard work. I think XRPL is probably 5 years in the making now. And the product, it's only a year old, XRP, and we've already got payment providers looking to use that for real world utility. Again, it's absolutely excellent. Now, in regard to the price, we are seeing a bit of a dump. It's sort of one of them buy the rumour, sell the news. Honestly, don't be disappointed about this. Even if the price goes all the way back down to 30 cents, you should be over the moon that you've been given the opportunity once again to accumulate more XRP. And that's all that it's about this year. It's about accumulation. It's not about getting rich overnight. It's not about seeing those 300% rises in the price. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I think I could be maybe one of the very select few in the community that actually wants to see the price continue to drop. Again, it's all about accumulation. This is the very, very, very start of a very long marathon that is going to be taken into effect. Look, listen, we've got free payment providers. The volume, I'm presuming, is just a grain of sand of what is to come in the future. But the most important thing is that XRP is live. And also, don't forget, the 120 live contracts and XCurrent will be able to be given the option of using the multi-hot feature. If they're using XCurrent, but their jurisdiction won't allow them to deal with digital assets, to hold them, or to transfer them, or to allow it to happen in payment flows, we do now have that multi-hot feature, which enables the 120 clients, if they did want to settle an XRP, which I can't think why they wouldn't want to personally, but it allows those with the countries with regulation where it's uncertain, it can still reap the benefits of using XRP as a settlement. Again, Ripple's strategy and tactics around XRP and XRP are next to none. And believe me, you are in safe hands. I wouldn't be sat here, pretty much after a year down the line, still preaching about XRP, still trying to encourage people to look into it and to invest. A lot of people say they're not a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor, but I mean, come on, people. It is crystal clear where the end of this road ends. And believe me, if you thought Amazon gains and Facebook gains, you know, all these, you know, sort of technological revolutions, if you want to call it, for the internet of information was great, honest to God, this internet of value will wipe the floor with anything that has ever been witnessed in mankind, as far as I'm aware. It is actually that big. And again, you know, there's been a lot of negativity. A lot of people saying, you know, why isn't the price moved? People are expecting instantaneous results. And just remember, it is a crawl, walk, run scenario. I do believe from after Swell, I think it was very important figures there, very keynote speakers. We had talks from central banks who were looking to innovate. You know, they're not trying to suppress innovation. In fact, again, as I mentioned earlier, the statistics are actually outweighing the fact that we are on the brink and the tipping point of mass adoption. And as if you can recall, Brad Garnhouse stated earlier this year that he has publicly announced that one major bank will use XRP as a source of liquidity and as a financial tool, but this calendar year. And then obviously he's gone on to say, and he's, you know, in the magnitude of dozens meaning plural, you know, 12 times 2, 3, 4, who knows. But I think 2019, especially 19, and there is specific reasons that we'll go into, I think it's going to be one of the most historic bull runs ever known, regardless what asset class we are talking in. There's a lot of factors that we do need to take in consideration at the moment. Now, you know, if you followed my channel, you should be well aware that institutions are in this market at the moment. Now, when I do say that, I mean people, the likes who are starting up custody services, trading desks, you know, those type of people. And we heard who they are. I don't need to reiterate exactly what people are doing, but, you know, as an example, you got BACS and you got the NASDAQ looking to launch exchanges. This thing is real. It is absolutely 100% real. And obviously we've heard from Congress, they're pushing the SEC and the CFTC now in order for regulatory clarity and certainty, so innovation can prosper in the US. As you can see, a lot of companies are moving away from there, as it's just too uncertain grounds to start developing and launching an asset as such, or a business model around a digital asset. But I think we're at I think by the end of this year, we will have that certainty. And I think that's the magic wand at the moment, which is causing the price suppression, especially for XRP. But I think this is in conjunction with Wall Street boys and the SEC. I think it has been being used as a tool. If you go back to 2014, FinCEN, who part of the US Treasury Department, you know, they fined Ripple $450,000. I'm not sure whether people was aware of that, through the illicit selling of XRP, and it was deemed there and then that it was a currency and it would fall under the jurisdiction of currency from sort of the Treasury and the FinCEN. So if you've done your research, you 100% know that XRP is not a security, yet it seems to be the suppression magical wand from the SEC in order to keep prices and values suppressed. And that's just not XRP, that is, you know, throughout the crypto board. But I think a lot of cryptos will die with the title of the security, and I think that's what we'll probably see moving forwards. But again, 2019 is an absolutely excellent year. Let's just go to Q3 2019. You know, I wouldn't even like to make a guess of how many payment providers will be live on XRapid, let alone the actual volume, the 24-hour average volume. You know, if we go a year into the future, we're seeing around 1 billion in average 24-hour volume. You know, when that goes to 10 billion or 20 billion, you know, that's automatically is going to raise the floor, the actual you know, intrinsic value of the actual asset XRP. You're always going to get the day traders and speculative booms and bust cycles on top of that raised, and like I say, it's basically the hard floor for XRP will continue to keep moving up and up and up as more payment providers, financial institutions, banks, etc. start actually running on XRapid, using XRP as a settlement financial tool, and like you say, I mean, think of all the Nostro money that is locked up around the world at the moment, and I think we will see a domino effect of companies, FIs, banks, etc. will start, I think, during 2019, we'll start probably pulling out from the Nostros, putting a small percentage of that into the XRPL, maybe to hold it themselves once regulations are set in place to do so. and I think it's going to be an excellent year. In 2019, we're going to have NASDAQ live. We're going to have BAX live, which is part of the New York Stock Exchange, you know, Intercontinental Exchange. We've got exchanges launching in Germany. Listen, you know where this is going. You've got exchanges, trading desks, custody services. It's all coming. We're not just there yet at the moment. And again, you know, if we can get regulatory clarity around this new asset class and exactly a great framework around it, then when we talk about institutional money, we don't necessarily mean investors. We're talking the likes of people like JP Morgan, who are managing funds, who are managing pension funds, who will legally be able to invest into digital assets, which isn't a possibility at the moment. I think this year, and maybe the first quarter of 2019 is all about building the ecosystem, building the regulatory framework around it, getting clarity of where we stand with everything in that regard. And once we've got all that set up, we can start seeing real institutional flows of money coming into digital asset markets. You know, it will go into Bitcoin and Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP. I do believe XRP will be the one that everybody's most interested in, certainly. But it won't be the only one. But as I stated, you know, that is the plan. And once we're in 2019, once we have all the clarity and what I have just mentioned there, then you will start seeing hedge funds, pension funds, all sorts of different types of derivative products maybe built around this ecosystem. It is the birth of a new asset class. It really is, and we've not seen something like that for a fair few centuries. And stocks was the last asset class to be brought into you know, into production, trade, whatever you want to call it. And we're talking centuries ago. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to be buying assets at the prices that they are. Now, that's not to say that they won't go down any further. Look, listen, I honest to God, I shit you not, this is the gospel truth. I want XRP to go back down to the 25 cents, 30 cents, 35 cents range. Will it do so? Only time will tell. But I promise you that is what I genuinely want to see happen. I want to keep accumulating and accumulating. And it's not to say that I won't be accumulating at $1. I probably will be. But you've seen how much you can stack up to your sort of bag, if you want to call it that. At those prices, you're literally snapping up thousands at a time. And that's just what I wish for. I get paid on Friday. You know, we've had swell at the start of this week, which I was a little bit worried about, thinking it might, you know, affect the exact amount that I can buy. We've had XRP go live, and the price has turned over, and it appears to be selling off. I could not be more thankful for that. So I do thank all the speculators that have bought the news and sold the rumour, because you have really, really helped me out. And that is that's not even me being sarcastic. I'm being deadly fucking serious with that. So again, yeah, there has been a lot of negativity in the crypto sphere, if you want to call it that. Not everybody, you know, the ones who do the research, the ones who are out there putting out the information, are more confident than there ever have been, and that applies for myself as well. I mean, we're hearing from central bankers how they're actually looking to innovate around this new technology, and there's only one asset that is live in production at the moment, and that is XRP. And if you want to compare that to Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. You know, it was a great movement, a great technological advancement. It inspired innovation in this sort of new technology. But, you know, we've come 10 years down the line, and it is Ripple and XRP that is the only working product live to be used in banking flows with a real utility. And that is history in the making. Don't forget that, ladies and gentlemen. That is genuine history in the making, that. Whether the price has not reacted to it or not. But if you can go back to the start of this year, when we had bank after bank after bank after bank after, financial institutions, they all signed up to Xcurrent. They now have the option to use XRapid, and if the jurisdiction in their specific country doesn't allow the dealings with digital assets, then we have got now that multi-hop feature where you can still reap the benefits of XRapid and XRP without physically having to hold it or deal with it. A third party will actually take on that XRapid function role. It will receive the fiat, and it'll pay out the fiat at the other end. We are on the brink, the fucking brink, honestly, of a catastrophic bull run. And I'm not just saying that to try and, motivate people into buying more. To be honest, I'm trying to raise awareness. I couldn't care less if anybody buys or sells or what they do. You know, I'm out here for my own personal interest. And doing videos like this isn't to try and, you know, shill XRP. It's just impossible to do so with such a small channel size. But if you cannot see what's about to happen, honestly, God, I will have lost patience by that point. I think next year, the same inflow of customers using Xcurrent, I think we're going to see the exact same for XRP. And to be quite honest with it, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are going to see an absolutely epic turning point. You know, it could happen this year. It could happen next year. I'm still sticking to my end of year target of $10. I think once BATS goes live, once they've got a custody service, if they're offering products around digital assets, I can't see why they wouldn't include XRP as one of those products. In fact, I believe that they definitely will be using XRP in a product. I just don't think it's being spoken about because it's one of them situations. Look over here at Bitcoin, look over here, but don't look over here. You know, you've got the media blackout on XRP. I mean, I won't say blackout, but you know, the detail in which it's being discussed is pretty much non-existent for XRP. But I think moving forward, honestly, you know, if you're disappointed about the price move, just take in consideration, I think from the 33 cents mark, when we did rally all the way up to 78 cents and we've seen a pullback, obviously speculation and FOMO was contributing to that. But I do believe that I did lift the base price from XRP by a good 20 cents, 25 cents. And if free payment providers can do that, you know, when Brett Garlenhouse is talking about dozens of banks using XRP for payment flows by the end of 2019, then you can only imagine what that will do to the instinctive value of XRP. And when I say instinctive value, I mean the actual base price of the utility being driven through it without speculation on top of it. You're always going to get the speculation. If you can play the swings, obviously playing to your advantage, I definitely recommend it. But, you know, if you don't know how to, you know, necessarily trade, the best thing you can do is just accumulate and just accumulate. And by the looks of it, it looks like we will be seeing a mini bear run. I'd probably say I'd like to see XRP potentially come back down to around 40 cents, 30 cents, as stated, to get paid on Friday. I'm only thinking of my own interest. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that just want it to run. But honestly, God, I mean, I would be happy for this price to stay around here for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, or even go lower, because for me, it's all about accumulation. And it will come to a point in life where these prices will never be seen ever again. They will be the historic lows, and they will never be returned to. Once we are up and running, once we do have the mass adoption, once we do have the live payment flows, once we do have the custody services, once we do have the reputable trading desks, it's a new asset class being born. And you know, there's millions and millions of dollars going into infrastructure to enable this innovation and to enable mass adoption. Is the best way of putting it. So don't be disappointed. If you was disappointed by Swell, then you need to just learn to have patience. You know, this is just, I mean, a great analogy to put it at this is, and I said this to a couple of my friends, imagine Facebook, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, and we all know how successful Facebook was, we all know that. But imagine when Facebook first rolled out live, you know, onto the internet for people to use. You know, it didn't automatically see 3 billion users of the platform. It rolled out slow and steady. And I have explained that this will be the case. I think as XRapid progresses through next year, especially through next year and by the back end of next year, these prices will be non-existent. They will be literally, physically impossible to ever get back down to these prices. Remember, it's a work in progress. It's about stepping stones. You know, a soft start for XRapid is the most sensible thing to do. I really do genuinely believe that is the case. And I think from now, moving forwards, every time that we hear, you know, of a customer signing up to XRapid or going live into XRapid, in theory, we should see a marginable increase in volume. You know, let alone if we talk about SPI in the flick of a switch. You know, if I forgot what it's called again. Is it Yoshi Katao from SBI, the president? Look, listen, he isn't coming out, you know, basically promoting $10 for a reason. There's clearly plans within plans inside SBI. A lot of people have sort of just shrugged it off their shoulders and sort of forgot about SBI. And I think it's SBI who's probably one of the key players in this XRP ecosystem, especially when you're talking about Japan and what they're planning on doing with the consortium of banks, over 65 banks planning to use RippleNet. And we know about the forex the forex volume worldwide is around 5 trillion a day, and 20% of that volume, responsible for that volume, is from Japan. And from Japan, 80% of that volume is actually SBI generated. So you could pretty much nearly say around sort of 15% of forex volume is actually driven through SBI. And if they can integrate their forex payment flows with XRP for better settlement and lower spreads, listen, only your imagination can see how high that could push the price. But listen, don't be disappointed that there's only 3 payment providers. Look, at the end of the day, it's history in the making. It is 3 payment providers that have gone live on XRP. XRP is now production ready for the XRapid products from Ripple. And listen, honest to God, just don't be disappointed. Really don't, take advantage of the situation. If the price is dropping, buy, and buy, because your accumulation days will soon come to an end where you will look at the price of XRP and probably think like, look, listen, I've seen this in the sense, I can't be buying this above $10 now. I think my accumulation days are done, and it will come to that scenario probably a lot sooner than what people seem to realise. I'm sticking to my $10 end of year. I'm sticking to that. I'm not changing it based on anything. I think we've got everything set in position. I think once BATS goes live, I think you're going to see a surge of interest. Not necessarily prices going to the moon, if you want to call it that, but there's nothing to be disappointed about. You should be extremely proud of what Ripple have done. They've said everything that they said they was ever going to do. XRP, XRapid's live. We've got, I'm sure there's plenty of more news to still hear yet. There really will be still plenty of more news. Swell was just one event which for me, it beat all my expectations of what I thought it was going to be, especially with XRapid going live. There was a little bit of uncertainty whether that would happen this year, and they've done it on the 1st of October, which is unreal, really. We've actually got a live working product now. So I'm sure the haters will find something else to start talking shit about as usual. But listen, if you're on Ripple, if you're with XRP, you have got the right investment. And towards the back end of next year, once we've got this full-scale adoption on XRP, just don't forget that the actual financial markets will be at a tipping point themselves, and we will probably be witnessing the greatest, if not the greatest, financial economic collapse in history. And once you've got XRP payment flows, once you've got a lot of people and institutions using it, when you've got China and Russia and the European Union talking about de-dollarization. Don't even think I said that right, but I'm not trying it again. Listen, the US dollar's time as the world reserve is on thin ice. And believe me, XRP being used as liquidity moving forwards could be a lot more realistic than you think. Cheers.